Hi guys, it's Rishmina and welcome back to the Peppy Podcast. Welcome. Today we have a special guest joining us all the way from Australia. Akash is not only my close friend but a huge fitness and wellness enthusiast. He's been into fitness for the last 10 years and has a lot of exciting information to share with us. Welcome, Akash.
Thank you, Shmina. I'm glad to be here.
So tell me what got you into fitness.
What got me into fitness? I would say, so back, as you said, 10 years ago, when we were in year 9 and 10, as you remember, I was quite a chubby kid. I've been a chubby kid throughout my life. It
Mm-hmm.
was, uh, it was part of my identity back then. A lot of my family members knew me as the chubby kid. I used to have my cheeks pulled all the time, so it was cute back then. But then, as I turned 14 and 15, that state it got worse. Like eventually I put on a lot of weight and it started affecting my mental and physical well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was that eventually it was getting in the way of my social relationships as well. I was not able to make a lot of friends back then. It was affecting my studies, my education, the way I felt inside.
Mm-hmm.
So we had just moved into a new apartment in Kolkata, and I found that there was a gym downstairs. So I one evening I just went downstairs to just have a look, and I saw a trainer over there training someone. So I went up to him and said, "Look, I'm looking to, lose a lot of weight. Can you help me? I don't know where to start." And he said, "Yeah, I'm happy to help you, but just know one thing that I'm not going to make you thin. I'm going to show you what you need to get fit, and you got to be consistent." So that's something I really liked. And this was back in 2014. So yeah, almost 10 years now. So over time, because I was in school back then, I had to plan my routine accordingly. I used to go to school, come back around 5, and then go to the gym at 5:30. I kept that routine going on. It was a very small gym, so there wasn't a lot we could do, but my trainer got me started with some basic calisthenics movements. So, regular body weight training, push-ups, lunges using dumbbells, minimal machines, and a lot of cardio. Over the course of 2 to 3 years, I managed to lose a lot of that weight. And at the same time, I started learning slowly about nutrition and food. My main source of information was YouTube at the time because it was big and there was a lot out there. But I also learned a lot through personal experiments. I tried out what felt good to eat, what didn't feel too good. At school, luckily, the food was most of the time on the healthy side, so I didn't have too much in that regard. But over the course of those 3 years before I came to Australia in 2017, I managed to lose a lot of that weight. But then around June 2017, I was pretty skinny. So when I came to Australia, then things started to change a lot more. I became a lot more independent. And so since then, over the last 5 to 6 years, I've really gone into it to learn about different kinds of nutrition, food sourcing, and forms of training, such as resistance training in the gym, powerlifting, CrossFit, martial arts, animal flow, yoga, and calisthenics. So I've been doing a lot of these for a while. And now I've just developed my own style of training, which combines elements from different types of exercises to make one coherent plan that feels good, helps me with my goal. It's just to maintain a steady weight, keep building strength, and be healthy and look good and feel good. And yeah, always learning along the way. There's, like, as I said, a lot of information, but very happy I went to the gym that day 10 years ago, and here we are.
I'm happy you went to the gym too because it really changed your confidence. And I want to know how being fit changed your mental health and confidence over the years.
Changed significantly, Rishmina. Like I feel that change is the biggest one. The physical change comes as a result of the mental change that has to happen first. Before I got into fitness, there was a lot of self-doubt and the confidence levels were really low. The way I spoke, the way I interacted with everyone changed as well. I
Mm-hmm.
Once I saw that I was able to change my body physically, it gave me the confidence I needed to change my academic record as well. I was able to study more and focus more. I
Mm-hmm.
was able to feel more confident when I'm speaking to other people, to teachers, to friends, to family members, whoever it was. There was this tendency to feel better in my own skin because I was happy when I looked at myself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I look back, since I'm working in marketing and comms now, and I feel communication is one of my biggest strengths, a lot of that credit goes to the fact that I go to the gym and it gives me the confidence confidence. I need keep my stress levels low as well. I feel more at ease and equanimous most of the time. Of course, that's not just because of fitness. It's a combination of some of the other activities I do as well, but fitness definitely helps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And can you tell me what fitness means to you now at this moment?
Fitness to me now is just a part of my day-to-day life. I don't give it much thought. I A lot of times people ask me, how do you stay motivated? Because I go pretty consistently. I go 4 days a week, so not too much. I train for about 45 to 50 minutes each day,
Mm-hmm.
not more than 1 hour. And I would not say that I get motivated to go to the gym anymore. It's not a question of motivation for me. It's more so just an activity I have to do. For example, when you wake up during the day, you just know that you have to brush your teeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no emotion attached to it. You don't think about today I don't feel like brushing my teeth. Or today's a good day. I feel like I want to brush my teeth. No, you wake up and usually you know that, well, I have to spend 3 to 5 minutes to look after my teeth, my gums, and my oral health. Similarly, for me, it's not a question of whether or not I want to go to the gym. It's a question of when to go to the gym 4 days a week because I have to spend that 45 to 50 minutes in the day to look after my body. Now, of course, on the occasional day, there may be something that comes up. I have a social event to go to, or I'm feeling sick, in which case I won't go. But that's a very one-off based case. It's not something that I ponder over too much. But I will say this that at the beginning of my journey, it wasn't like this. This mentality comes with time. At the beginning, if I think about motivation, then it really comes down to the why behind why I went to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very personal thing. And this is something that I ask everyone who wants to train with me. I'm trying to get officially into training people. I'm trying to develop my own uh, side business where I'm helping people with their goals. I've been unofficially doing it for a few years, helping my friends lose weight, gain weight, and get into
Mm-hmm.
exercise. And I don't charge them any money for it, but the one thing that I do ask them is why is it that you want to go to the gym?
Mm-hmm.
And that why itself, I feel, is the most important motivator that can be for someone. For me, it was because I didn't like the way I looked in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I was not in a very good place mentally, and I wanted to change that. And I don't want to go in that place ever again. For
Mm-hmm.
someone else, it might be completely different. They might have a heart disease or a health history problem that they
Mm-hmm.
want to solve,
Mm-hmm.
or they might have some history being overweight like me or very skinny like me. They just want to be strong, or they want to compete in a competition, or they want to run a marathon as an achievement they want to work towards, or they want to have a six pack, or whatever the goal is. The why has to be there in the back of your mind, whenever you're thinking about being motivated or not. Because if that's not strong enough, then you'll never be consistent to your routine, and then over time, then it becomes that idea that, well, it's just something I have to do. It's not. I don't think about it too much. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
fitness for me, it's just a part of my day that I have to do it.
Okay. And
Yeah.
would you say there are any big obstacles in the way of your fitness routine?
For me, not so much now. Like every now
Mm-hmm.
and then again, I try to switch up my training plan. But generally speaking, for anyone, I would say there are two main obstacles when it
Okay.
comes to reaching their fitness goals. The first one is definitely the why, as I said, not knowing or not coming to terms with the why. For example, some people feel like it's important to go to the gym just because it's trendy, or they just buy a new set of yoga pants or a new gym outfit and they want to show it. Or a lot of my guy friends say that, listen, man, I just want to have a girlfriend, and the way to do
Mm-hmm.
that is to go to the gym and build muscle. If that is the why, the way I see it, it's not necessarily the best approach to take because it's not personal enough. Because, say, for example, the guy who wants to get a girlfriend eventually does get a girlfriend. Then what's his motivation to keep going to the gym, right?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so the why has to be ingrained within your personality to really keep yourself going day after day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first obstacle I would say is not knowing or not coming to terms with the why.
Mm-hmm.
The second I would say, Rishmina, is a lot of misinformation out there regarding health and fitness. And so having the right approach is often very difficult. I'll give you a few examples. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when people think of fitness, of course, there are three pillars. You have nutrition, you have exercise, and you have mental well-being. That's what my idea of fitness is, because fitness is not just about muscles. It's also about your bone health, your organ health, and how you feel mentally as well. As someone, yeah, as you've studied medicine, you probably know
Even
the
gut
importance.
health.
Even everything in the
Yeah.
body, gut health, absolutely very important. So if we take them one by one, nutrition wise, which probably has the most number of myths and misinformation out there, it starts off with marketing. As someone who works in marketing, I am fully aware and I acknowledge the importance of marketing and the influence it's played in the nutrition and food industry. People think that nutrition is all about three macronutrients: carbs, proteins, and fats. But it's about so much more. You have the omega 3s, you have micronutrients, vitamins, and fiber, which are all important for your gut, as you mentioned, and your organ health as well. So I became a vegetarian 1 year ago. It's been a year.
I
And
didn't know
before
this.
I
No,
told
you
you over the
didn't.
phone. Yeah, I did. I'll have to I'll have to um ask you again. But I turned vegetarian last year around this time. I was a full-fledged carnivore before that.
Hmm.
And
That's how I remember you.
yeah, I used to eat everything that moved and walked. And I watched this movie, and it wasn't related to meat as such, but it just changed the way I thought about living beings and how I wanted to continue living my life. So I'm deeply into philosophy as well. So it aligned with some of my philosophical viewpoints that I had towards my food consumption and what I was putting in my body. So I just stopped. I just one day just stopped. And I will say this, anyone who's listening, I would not recommend, if you are planning to go vegetarian, to just immediately stop. The smart thing to do would have been to gradually change. But if I
Hmm.
just, because I just stopped, my gut did not like it a lot. I didn't appreciate it. So it took me 3 to 4 weeks to really adjust to the amount of fiber that was going in my body. So anyone's listening, if you want to go veggie, slowly do it. Don't do what I did.
Okay.
Anyway, so I turned vegetarian a year ago. And the first thing that I had a lot of people telling me is, how are you getting your protein?
Mm-hmm.
And protein is a big one. I feel that there's this general idea in the industry and amongst people that you need a fuck ton of protein going in your body.
And that it has to come from animal sources.
Exactly. That it has to come from animal sources or supplementation. Otherwise, you're not going to build muscle. I think that the number that is believed is 1.5 to 2 grams per pound of body weight or per kilo of body weight. So you can imagine, Shmina, at that time when I was a carnivore, my weight is about 80 to 85. It's been fluctuating between that, but I was consuming around 150 to 160 grams of protein every day.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? Since I turned vegetarian, my protein intake has halved. So right now I consume about 60 to 70 grams, and my muscle mass has actually increased.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
combination of other factors like rest and exercise. But again, this is one of those things that when I actually looked into it, I found out the information out there was just false. The
Mm-hmm.
whole protein myth idea was propagated by supplement companies so that people buy more of their supplements, take more, and then keep buying. It
Mm-hmm.
was just a marketing ploy. That's why if you actually look at the back of a supplement tub, most of them have a serving size that says 2 to 3 scoops. Not because you need that much, but because you have that much, it'll finish quicker and you buy another one. And
Mm.
this general idea came about that you need that much protein. Now, I will say this, when everyone needs protein, but someone who exercises has a higher requirement of protein because your muscles need the amino acids. But that number itself is not fixed for every single person. Every single person is going to have a different protein requirement. And
Correct.
to just say that it's 2 grams for everyone per pound of body weight is just ignoring all the other facets that make us different to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's one myth. The other thing I'll say is food sourcing and labeling. So this is where I see a lot of people struggling is when they go to shop for groceries, is where to buy stuff, how to go about it, how to understand whether something is easy or healthy or not. And without complicating it too much, there are a few rules of thumbs which someone can really adopt when they're going grocery shopping. So the first basic one is it's a good idea to shop on the outsides of a grocery store, which is outsides typically have your fresh food and veggie section or your
Mm-hmm.
meat section, breads. As the more inside you go, the more processed the food starts to get.
Wow.
The
I
other
never
thing is
realized that.
they do that because there's so much processed food and they want you to go outside first and come inside because people spend most of the time inside within the grocery store. Whereas if you just go on the outside and come back, you won't be spending a lot more time. So they put the colorful stuff, the processed stuff, the tasty stuff inside. So you actually look more and buy more like, oh, I'll get this, I'll get this, I'll get this. It's all
Mm.
marketing. With the processed foods, but when it comes to food labeling, a good way to understand whether something is good or not is to never look at the front of a food package. That's all marketing. They're going to say high fiber, high protein, very healthy. Ignore all of that. Flip it around on the back side. Look at the food label. When you see the ingredient list, the first ingredient on the back of a food label is the one that the food itself has the highest concentration of. Which means if you look at a biscuit, for example, and the first ingredient is chocolate syrup or sugar, it means that the bulk of that biscuit itself consists of sugar. So it goes down
Mm.
in descending order. So sugar, it can be some wheat after that, it goes in that order. Which
Mm-hmm.
means if you look at a food item and the first item is sugar, then you know that you're consuming mostly sugar. It can be 40%, it can be 30%, but the bulk of that food item is sugar.
Right.
Same thing goes for anything savory in that regard. If you're someone who's lactose sensitive and if you see a food that has milk solids in the first ingredient, then you know that that has a lot of milk solids. The second thing to do is look at the actual nutrition label and the table that says how many of each nutrient you're getting per serving. A lot of companies are very clever and they put in serving size per serving and also per 100 grams when the serving size is actually more than 100 grams. You want to see how many carbs and how many of those carbs are sugar in each serving and
Mm-hmm.
then make a decision based on that. So these things are useful tips that I found when I was going grocery shopping at the beginning because it's very easy to fall for a lot of the marketing ploy that's out there about what is healthy and what's not healthy. The other thing is that, and this particularly applies for women, is the importance of syncing exercise with your menstruation cycle. A lot of
Mm.
times I've seen that women don't know or they don't look after the menstruation cycle when they're actually exercising.
Mm-hmm.
So to break it down, for example, menstruation cycle has 4 phases. The first phase, which is the menstruation phase, your estrogen and your progesterone levels are low. And so energy levels are low. And typically, you get cramps, fatigue, and mood swings. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I could understand when I was reading up on this.
I know about mood
During
swings. I get it every month.
exactly. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I don't know exactly, but this is what I've learned. And when I've actually spoken to my female friends as well, we're able to help you with this information. But during the menstruation phase, it's important to listen to your body and focus on light, medium intensity exercises like yoga, walking, and
Mm-hmm.
gentle stretching.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the best time to go into high intensity training.
I
When you get to
agree.
phase two, which is
I
the
agree.
follicular cycle, yeah, progesterone remains low, but estrogen starts to rise, and so does your energy. And so during the follicular and ovulation phase, high intensity training and strength training is most suitable for your body. So that's when you can push yourself to a high limit. And
Mm-hmm.
then during the fourth phase, which is luteal, your estrogen starts to drop, progesterone starts to rise, and you can get into some moderate training, moderate intensity exercising. So
Mm-hmm.
these things, again, for a female itself, are very important. And to
Mm-hmm.
know when you're actually going to a trainer and asking them for a plan, because it
Mm-hmm.
can't be just a plan for everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
it's important, again, to listen to your body and learn about what feels good. There's no one right formula. So these things are, I feel, again, examples of how there's so much information out there, but the gyms and the industry and online just focus on the tip of the iceberg, which is eat well and go to the gym, which is true to an extent, but being healthy consists of so much more than that. And it's mainly about knowing what feels good, what works for you, and then sticking with it as long as you can. Going back to the why, as I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what piece of advice do you have for someone starting out their fitness journey?
First thing I would say is educate yourself. Like I said, the internet has a lot of content and it can be difficult to sift through and find out who to trust, what to trust. I would say do your own research is the big one and speak to someone who has been in fitness and training for a long time. Learn about them rather than take everything on face value. Take it and then question it a bit. For example, if someone says that, let's say, donuts are good for health, regardless of how long they've been into, regardless of how good they might look or how long they've been training, take it with a grain of salt because not everything you say and hear on the internet is particularly true, especially on social media. On social media, you can find 3 different videos about oatmeal, for example. One person might say oatmeal is very healthy. One person might say oatmeal is not healthy at all. One person might just completely be indifferent. So knowing all those things and in response to how your body responds is very important. Second thing I would say is find out what your why is and use that to keep yourself motivated. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this might differ from person to person, but really sit with yourself and ask yourself, why do I want to go to the gym? What do I really want? Is it just about the physical transformation, or am I just not in a good mental state at the moment that I hope may change if I start
Mm-hmm.
working out?
Mm-hmm.
Is it about doing something to please someone else? Is
Mm-hmm.
that, do I really, should I really please someone else physically? Do I really have to if I really want them in my life? These questions can really get into the way of whether or not you are consistent in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the practical part, then slow and steady changes are good. For example, in terms of dietary choices, I would not recommend anyone to just eliminate your favorite foods or just jump into the deep end with intense training. A progressive
Mm-hmm.
change is way more sustainable. For example, if you're trying to lose weight and you want to cut down the amount of food you're eating, make slow and steady changes. For example, if you're having two rotis and dal with some curd on the side, reduce that to one and a half rotis or
Mm-hmm.
one or half a cup of dal for a week or two, and then slowly make those incremental changes. Similarly, if you're going to bed at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. at night and you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough sunlight, change those habits slowly by going to bed at 1 a.m. and then 12 a.m. slowly rather than just trying to go to bed at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, if you haven't trained ever in your life, your body is going to have a shock reaction when you go to the gym and put it to stress. So starting off slow and easy, speak to a trainer, make sure that safety comes first. Nothing comes above safety. You don't want to jump in and do an exercise that might injure you.
Mm-hmm.
Start off slow and make it fun. Like I would say, take a friend to the gym, train together, learn together, and keep yourselves accountable. Gym is a great place to meet new people. And
Mm-hmm.
if you go with a friend who has a different goal, for example, you might want to lose weight, your friend might want to gain weight. Both of you
Mm-hmm.
can learn and
Mm-hmm.
work out together, learn about recipes together, cook together, keep yourselves accountable. If one person trips, you can tell them that we got to stay focused, put yourself a timeline, like in 6 months we got to get ready for summer and have a summer body,
Mm.
whatever it may be. And of course, don't forget to look after your mental health. If at any time this fitness journey starts to get strenuous to you, if you start feeling anxious, if you don't feel good, if you don't feel positive, then make a change. You don't necessarily have to have boiled food all day if it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel good. Have switch it up a little bit. And there's a lot of information out there today. If you're living in a developed country, then there are a lot of options for food as well, for vegans, vegetarians, for lactose
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, for gluten-free people. So there's a lot of options out there for you to play around with. And depending on where you are, you can find a way of training that works for you without spending too much money as well. So that's what I would say to anyone who's starting out.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So that was really helpful. Thank you for everything you shared with us, Akash. Is there anything you want to say before we end this conversation?
No, I think that summed it up. Again, fitness is not too complicated. It's become complicated, like I say, because of all the information out there. It's become a cult following. There's it can be intimidating at times because of all the people who are into fitness. It can be intimidating to go to the gym. If there's anyone who feels intimidated when they go to the gym, the one thing I'll say is that everyone in the gym is working on themselves and they all have their own insecurities that they're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And from my experience, what I found is that the gym is a very supportive environment. If you go there, regardless of how someone else looks, regardless of how you look, people are generally quite supportive because they've all been there. And the one rule of thumb I would say is when it comes to comparison, it's easy for us to compare ourselves with other people all the time, and be critical of our own shortcomings. One quote I remember from a book that I read was to not compare yourself with someone else today, but compare yourself to how you were yesterday.
Mm.
It's irrational to compare yourself with someone else because every atom of your body is different to every atom of their body, and every
Mm.
experience has been different experience in their lives. Rather, a better metric for comparison is to compare yourself with how you were today versus yesterday versus last
Mm-hmm.
week, last year, 5 years ago,
Mm.
and that as a measure of progress. That if you are happy now, if you're wiser now than you were before, then that's a sign of growth. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why we can not be too hard on ourselves with how we're doing things and take a more positive approach on things and have fun where we should. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you, Akash, and thanks for listening to the Peppy podcast. Stay tuned for our next episode, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you, Shmina. Bye bye.